There we go. There we go. I need to change the view second. There. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to LOCAC Land Use meeting on July 3rd, 2023. For those of you familiar with Zoom, or some of you might not be, there's a way to raise your hand. So when you want to say something or anything, signify by either raising your hand by clicking on the bottom of the screen, or you can do it visually too. Just any way to let us know you want to make, you want to say something.
And Larry, could you, they need to know too that you click on reactions to raise your hand.
Okay, so at the bottom of the screen somewhere there's reactions. I think it's more on my screen.
Yeah, and it has a smiley. Mine has like a happy face.
Yeah. So that way we just kind of know and can do it in order and stuff. Okay, so first we need to do roll call. Patrick, you want to do roll call?
Okay, Larry
Present.
and Molly
Present.
and Mr. Taylor,
Present.
Becky
Present.
and Robin
Here.
and Julie and Lindy Owen.
I'm here.
All right, everybody's here.
Hey.
Okay. We're going to go to chairperson's announcements, and I'd like to introduce two new land use members. One is also a new LOCAC member, Molly Brown.
Hello. Greetings.
Hey, Molly.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then we also have Jacob Taylor. He's just joining land use, but had a little discussion with him, and he seems very interested in land use stuff. And so those are the two new members that we have. Are there any committee members announcements? Any announcements committee members would like?
I have one.
Go ahead, Becky.
Yeah, and this is in regards to the last LOCAC meeting, about horses on the reserve. And someone was saying maybe LOCAC shouldn't even be involved in this, but I was looking at the LOCAC mission statement. And the last line is, LOCAC is also a voice for protecting Morro Bay and the sensitive environment surrounding our community. And so I thought we should bring that up. It's not just about land use, like for houses and things. It's also a voice for our sensitive environment.
Okay. I agree with you on that. Thank you.
Okay.
There we go. Any other chairperson announcements? Okay, or committee member announcements. Next, I'm going to open up to the public. If this is time for public comment for items not on the agenda. If anyone would like to say something, we usually allow 3 minutes or so to speak what's on their mind. I see Dave and Bev have their hand up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's Dave. This is in connection with the last LOCAC meeting as well. There's some people that are in attendance at this meeting who probably have to do with the permits that are being considered tonight. But I don't know that there's anybody else here from the public besides Bev and me. So as far as making sure that LOCAC business is something that the that the public is aware of. Oh, Vic is here too, I see.
Hmm.
Anyway, as far as making it known to the public and people who might be interested in what LOCAC does and why it's important to the community, obviously it hasn't happened before tonight's meeting. And it would be great if there was articles in the Bay News or somewhere to say something about, and I don't mean an advertisement, I mean an article, to say something about how this is an important organization that makes or that can make a difference. And if nobody comes, then it means that the citizens of Los Osos don't really care. So that's all.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Very good observation.
And can I make a comment
Yeah, go ahead, Becky.
to that? I agree. There's so much in this town that people don't know about, and it would be good to have an article, but also an announcement in the Bay News. And how about on the sign, the amber, the sign out there, land use tonight, and go to Facebook or something like that. All of the committees, people should know about them. Most people don't even know what LOCAC is.
Lindy, I see you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
I totally agree, and we've talked about this for years. It's going to take a couple of people to sit down, and if we want to focus on our land use issues that come up, and there's many that we don't look at on a regular basis, but ongoing things like what's code enforcement, what are the tree rules, blah, blah, blah. Maybe a couple of us would get together, and then we also have to peg the date to get it into the Bay News, because they only publish every 2 weeks. But I think it's a really good idea, and I think we just have to do it ourselves. And I'd be willing to help. I like writing. I'm overwhelmed always with lots of stuff, but maybe we can take turns, each person writing once a month, what's coming up for land use, and get it. I think we can definitely get it into the Bay News. It's just a matter of who's going to write it. So as always.
We do have a outreach community or outreach committee that I suppose is supposed to be doing that.
They haven't been able to.
I've been putting just LOCAC general meetings. I didn't put the last one on, but I make a little thing and put it on Facebook, like support Los Osos, and then on Nextdoor. But it wasn't any official thing, but I'm like, nobody knows anything is happening. So I just started doing it.
Dave, you want to unmute yourself, or Bev?
Yeah, I'm back. I just wanted to say thanks for having a discussion here, even though officially you guys aren't supposed to discuss public comment. So thanks again.
Oops, sorry.
I just so everybody knows, I like the informality that we have here, and I like the informality that we have at LOCAC also. Where we can discuss and openly talk about things, even though it's not on the agenda and we're not supposed to talk it public comment. Gosh, we're human and we have ideas. We don't get together often enough, I don't think, just to communicate with each other, and share ideas and stuff. So I will never stop a discussion unless it's at a topic or offline.
Thank you.
Just want to say that. Okay, so moving along, we need to approve the minutes from our May meeting because we didn't have a June meeting, no minutes. And can I get somebody to make a motion for the approval of the minutes?
I'll move that we approve.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, signify
Aye.
by raising your hand or use the some way or another. I'll take that as majority to be approved. And so moving along on the agenda, we have a couple items The first is the Haynes project. Removal of an existing garage and construction of a unconditioned garage. Do we have some representatives or some folks here that'll be talking on this? I think Bob Kreiser might be one. Are there others? Bob, I can't hear you.
I haven't spoken, but let's see.
We can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So I'm Bob Kreiser, and the first thing I want to say is thanks for all your efforts that you put in our community. It's much appreciated, and I know what that's about. But this project has actually been tuned up since this drawing has been done, and we basically should have pulled this and put it into a future review because there's been a reasonable reduction in the footprint of the building. Basically, where you're looking at, if you're looking at the page A1.1, the area that is the 11 feet gets removed. And so it's only a small addition to the south. So to make it quick, we probably should pull this and resubmit.
But yeah, Bob, if that's what you guys would like to do, I'm trying to keep the project moving,
Sure,
so
sure. Yeah, and
doesn't get-
well, if you guys are comfortable with the fact that I'm describing this as basically a reduction of approximately 11 feet, then the rest of the project moves forward. Yes.
But if you-
so if you want to go ahead and put input, I understand. Let's do it. But one of the things that happened here on this process is I had 2 meetings with county planners and staff on site 2 different times. And the conclusion on those meetings were essentially, we don't have an environmental impact issue because the areas that we're moving into is part of why that shop got reduced. So we're not doing an environmental impact. And we're basically working within a footprint of areas that had already been disturbed. And then the other item was that we had to be sure we had the appropriate distance from the bay. And we meet that without any issue. So that's kind of the quick explanation.
Okay. Let me put it out there and see what kind of questions we can come up with. Bob, I want you to feel if you're not comfortable with any of this and care to pull the project and return it at a future date, that could be an option.
Right, but I don't mind the input, and if it means that part of the input's to tune it up, then okay.
Okay, well, good. Thank you, Bob. Lindy, I see you've got your hand up there.
Yeah, hi, Bob. I just wanted to I had a couple questions. I looked at this when we were going to review it at the last meeting that we couldn't get, we had tech problems, but I am confused. The primary owner is Karen Mushinetz, and it's a trust, I believe, but it's called the Haynes Residence. Can you clarify why we have 2 names on it?
Yes, the Mushinetz are actually that's her name and her family, and she has a daughter that is married to a Haynes who they are coming to occupy to help take care of her and eventually occupy the home.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 2 family. It's 1 family, but with 2 names. Yes.
And then, and I can't pull it up because I don't have enough equipment here. The existing art studio, are you changing that to call it, because it looked like on the plans, it's the original and the proposed are both called art studio.
Right,
Um,
actually, it was built some time ago and it was actually built as like a little guest unit, but it hasn't ever been really used as that. And they're presently going to, when they move here, they've got their own businesses that are good, they're going to be able to work out of this facility. And part of it is the studio and then the shop space.
Okay, well, my concern, I guess, is the art studio has a full kitchen with a stove and a refrigerator, and it has a full bathroom with a bathtub and everything. So
And
was that,
the existing condition, yes, but the proposed does not. See, that was the point. See,
Well,
if you're able to look at both drawings, the proposed, all that's been removed.
well, if we're gonna look at it again, maybe we can all take a look and that'll be easier to understand, because I was looking at what was originally the permit. But it looked like the new one has the bathtub just rearranged differently, so.
Right, but if you're able to look at the sheet A1 on the drawings, it shows the original layout with the refrigerator and stove. And then when you look at sheet A2, no, A1.1, now it shows that having been removed.
Okay, so we will be reviewing it possibly next month.
Yeah, I mean, this is all right on the website. I just pulled up the plans. You could look at it right on your website, what I just explained to you.
Yeah, I can't, I don't
Okay,
have
yeah,
the
but
equipment.
that can all be handled, ahead of time, and if any questions come up, you can there, but it's been resolved to not be a living space.
Okay, and we will see it again.
Pardon
We'll
me?
have- We'll have a chance to see it
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
Okay.
we'll look at this again anyway. Yeah,
Okay, very good. Those were just my two questions. Thank you.
sure.
Robin, I see you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I was going to request, when this comes back with the revisions, if perhaps we could have Mr. Kreiser do a share screen. So when questions like Lindy has, he can bring that schematic up and then we can see it all together.
Yeah, I agree, and I had trouble getting this thing to do that, so next time it'll be set up.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Robin. Are there any other questions or comments from members of the committee?
I had just a quick one. I'm
Go ahead.
curious as to what type of business is going to be moving in there.
That's something that I haven't been clarified. He
Okay.
basically said he needed this to keep his operation going, and I'm sorry, but I didn't delve into that.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Okay. Going to open it up now to members of the public. Anybody in the public have questions or concerns or comments about this project? Robin, are you seeing anybody? I'm not seeing anybody.
No hands raised.
Okay. So I guess, a motion on this is to have them bring it back and be able to share the screen and show folks if that's what they want. I mean, I don't know. I'll put it out there to the committee. What do you guys want to do with this?
Well, I'd like it to come back.
So a motion
I
to,
agree.
a motion to see it when it's ready to come back possibly at our next meeting and to do a screen share so that we can be clear. That's,
Okay.
That works for me.
That works for you, Bob? Well,
Yes, sir.
we're gonna next month, July, August. We'll put you down on the schedule. I will be in touch with you to see if I can get those two drawings that you said that are there, just to pull them out and
Sure, sure. The interesting thing is that the email that you sent had those, I could download off of them. And that's what I've been actually using on my screen, is what I downloaded off the one you sent.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
well, good. I'm glad it's that simple. That's what we want to keep it simple. Just want everyone to be able to see it then.
Yeah, that, I mean, it
Uh,
was the invite and notice of the date and time, and it
Yeah.
had it on there, and I was able to just hit it and it downloaded and fired it up.
Okay. Well,
All
good.
right.
We'll see you in August. Thank you,
Yes, we
Bob.
will. You bet. Thank you.
Okay, so moving along, we'll let LOCAC know we're putting this one on hold till August. The next project we have is the Owens project. And
And
I
is
see the
that
Owens
Dana
are
Hunter?
here.
Okay.
I see Dana Hunter's here. Dana, is there anyone else from your,
Yes,
Uh,
hi everyone. I'm with Doug and Nancy Owen as well, the property owners on Rodman Drive. So all of us are here. So thank you
Okay.
so much, committee, for meeting with us tonight. We wanted to kind of discuss about the kind of our land use kind of our project happening on 2831 Rodman Drive. So Doug and Nancy Owen purchased their home in August of 2022. After purchasing the property, Nancy and Doug immediately began the thoughts of upgrading the home to fit their needs and allow them to age in place. This includes providing a functional kitchen and primary suite. Doing my due diligence as an architect, I immediately, after understanding the client's scope of work, I go directly to the county. So I went to the county and I began a conversation, which led me to a discussion with Daniel Del Rio, code enforcement investigator. He informed me that there was an active code case for the property, which was an illegal second dwelling unit with a full kitchen to the existing lower level. This code violation was never disclosed with Doug and Nancy. We're in escrow on the property. So immediately after that, we scheduled a pre-application meeting with the county to discuss kind of the due process. So it sounded like the inheritance of the code violation and the proposed scope of work, the county was able to allow us to formally apply for a minor use permit. The county understood that this code violation was inherited and was at no fault of the owners, Nancy and Doug. So that's kind of the history where we are. So what our goal is to create a guest house that is compliant with the coastal zone land use ordinance and create a space that is for Nancy and Doug's family to visit. It is by no means to rent out this place to create a dwelling unit or an ADU. Thank you. And Doug and Nancy, if you have anything to chime in, you're more than happy to.
wait, Doug and Nancy, we gotta unmute you.
They're unmuted.
Oh, well, we can't hear you.
You have to do it from your computer now.
Here, I'll,
It doesn't
no,
show
they're
that
not
They're
muted.
not muted.
Do they have a microphone?
Yeah, is your
Volume
microphone
turned
plugged in?
Here, let's do this. I'm going to mute you. And now I'm going to ask you to unmute. Okay, you did that. But no voice?
No audio. Check the little arrow next to the mic, the mute button, and see if it has a microphone picked or the wrong one if you have multiple audio sources on your computer.
Down in the bottom bar to the left.
I, I got the thing if for them to maybe call in on the phone. If that's not,
They can hear, but can't speak.
Right. They can hear me too. Bye.
or maybe their volume is down, they have to turn their volume up.
Well, they're muted now.
So Doug and Nancy, do you have access to the agenda and go to the phone number and just call on your cell phone and that'll get you in? This is when we all wish we learned American Sign Language. And then later in life, when we're all deaf, it's also nice to have.
Put it, you know how there's the chat thing to the side?
Do we have that?
Yeah, it's down in the bottom bar, at least on mine. There's a chat.
Oh, yeah.
That's so odd that the phone won't work either.
You could always take a piece of paper and write your things and hold it up.
Will it show up backwards though? Yeah, sometimes it does.
That complicates things.
Yeah. Then we all have to hold up a mirror.
All of us with our mirror. Smoke signals.
Gonna have to mail everybody a whiteboard soon.
Well, one thing we could try is Doug and Nancy leave and try and come in again. Maybe there's just a connection. Oh, here we go. Wait, they called. I shall admit them on the phone.
Yay.
I think you guys are connecting. So
You're holding up the number.
anybody remember what the pound or star what for the phone call to unmute themselves?
Star
I think,
six
Star
or
82.
9. No, star 6 or star 9. One of the two of those will get.
Yeah.
them
Try one or try the
unmuted.
other.
So Doug and Nancy, did you put in the phone number?
Yeah,
ring
and
through, and then-
they're on here.
Yeah,
They
but
just
do they
need to
have the-
unmute.
Oh,
Yeah. Nancy, did you try star, was it 6 or star 8?
or 9.
star 6 or star 9.
9, sorry.
Yeah, it's one of those.
It made their hand raise with the icon.
Uh-huh.
Was one of them then?
Oh, I can't read that.
Unmute me, please.
There.
Wait,
Okay,
know.
we're on.
Okay.
It
There
says
they
we're
are.
unmuted. Can you hear us now?
Yes,
yay.
we can.
Wow,
A team effort.
it's high tech stuff. I just don't know how to deal with it.
A breakthrough.
Okay.
Okay, now we're getting feedback. Oh, well.
You sound good.
Okay. So that's not what we were talking about.
Yeah, what were we supposed to say?
You know, are you connected by the phone? I think that might be too why we're getting this feedback sound. Is your phone on?
Let's turn this one off. Does this help?
No.
Still an echo.
So
How
should
about, oh, I know.
leave the phone
Let's
on,
turn the
but
volume down.
video off.
Okay. So now we're not getting feedback. Okay.
There we
unusual.
go.
Try it again.
Oh, no, we
Good.
have it.
Okay, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay,
Yay!
finally.
So I guess you were wondering if we had anything to add to what Dana said. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, again, she did a great job explaining how when we bought the house, this unit was downstairs. Our next door neighbor is the one that told us that after we had moved here and we met them, that it was illegal. It's about the same time that Dana found out that it was illegal. I talked to our realtor. She had no idea. It didn't come up in the sale at all. And she's happy to talk to anybody about that. And we don't want to rent. There's no way. I mean, we are very private people. We don't want the hassle of renting, but I would love to have space for my sisters to come and visit. And we do often host Thanksgiving. So we were looking and saying, this is a great guest house. And that's what our plan is to fix the problems with it, because there's many problems. First of all, the ceiling leaks like a sieve, especially this year. Now there's probably mold growing in there. There's no heat. I mean, the room looks like it's just not livable.
The whole house needs to be remodeled.
Yeah,
And the
it's
sooner we
really
get going on this project,
Yeah.
the happier.
Yes. And hopefully you understand that we are fixing problems. There's a retaining wall that's cracked that needs to be fixed. This year was, we had soil and sand running into our neighbor's backyard because the landscaping needs to be fixed. And the sooner we can get done, I think the happier everybody's going to be with these. You know, there are safety concerns, not just the fact that we would love to have a beautiful home here. So I don't know if there's anything else you'd need to know about. Are you still hearing me?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, good.
I wasn't sure about that. And we, as far as water usage, I understand that this bathroom is illegal, but whether there's a bathroom downstairs for the guests or they have to come up here, I don't see how they're going to be using any more water and in fact, we are going to be installing, which are not here now, low flow toilets, low shower heads. We're upgrading all the appliances to use less electricity and less water. We're very conservative. We're thinking of putting in solar panels. So
Go ahead.
yeah, so I'm hoping that our goal is definitely not to be a drain on any system here, just increase the value of the home and its livability.
I'm also going to do away with the lawn, and we're going to do low maintenance yard and succulent plants. So
yeah,
we are very concerned also with conserving water.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Coming from,
but as Nancy says, it really doesn't matter whether the bathroom's up here, down there, or the bathroom's up here. Whoever stays there will have to use the bathroom at some point, and they're going to use the same amount of water whether the bathroom's downstairs or upstairs.
Yeah.
The way I see it.
Yeah, and I know that was a big concern. We don't need a refrigerator. We don't need a stove.
And also, I'm a very private person, so the number of days that guests are here are very limited. Probably maybe 1 or 2 weeks of summer at the most.
Yeah, I know. I like my sister's here longer, but he has a limit. Oh, well.
Yeah, so, we want to comply with everybody's concerns, but we also want to get started on this project as soon as possible.
Yeah. We want to fix what is wrong.
Yeah.
Please believe us.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to open it up to questions from the committee. And Lindy, I see you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I think I think the remodel looks totally reasonable, and it's a plus for the property also. I guess I'm questioning the responsibility for the illegal dwelling and guest house is actually on the prior owners, and code enforcement seems to be wanting to say, well, this was unfortunate, and we'll just go ahead and approve that you get what was never approved during this process. So you said that you'd be willing to take out the kitchenette, the kitchen and the fridge and all that stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
And
Yeah,
and
we'll
Lindy, this
comply
is
with the
Dana
code.
Hunter. I could share my
Yeah.
screen if that helps. I could kind of show the existing kind of illegal condition and what we are currently proposing. Just so that maybe it could help everyone's understanding of what Nancy and Doug inherited and what is. Okay, if the host can disable my screen sharing, that would be great.
So Dana, the letter that we were provided,
Yes,
it says at the very end, this communication with Del Rio and Marias, I guess. They understand this code violation was inherited and no fault, blah, blah, blah. They were satisfied that the MUP would cover the proposed remodel and addition as well as correct the code violation. So my question, I guess, is correcting the code violation, approving it and going through that process, or removing what created the code enforcement.
it is
The bathroom
removing.
is fine.
Yeah,
Removing.
yeah, the bathroom's fine. It's removing what was not compliant. So that is the oven and basically that was all that was there existing. So there wasn't a dishwasher there currently, but I think it was the use of it. The previous owner was renting it, and that was the biggest code violation. So the fact that Doug and Nancy are not going to rent out this space for income is kind of the major kind of goal in mind, and the major kind of correction we will make, as well as complying with the coastal zone kind of ordinance for guest houses. So we will have limited kind of the living area to include, you know, a single sink with an under counter refrigerator. The guest house should not be designed to contain or accommodate cooking or laundry facilities, and it shall not be used for residential occupancy independent from the principal residence for rental use.
So if it were to be, this is what we see, and it's nothing on you. This is what we see quite often is after a project is approved, the owners will come back and then put the refrigerator, the stove, the appliances in, and then resume, then go back to renting. So it's, I totally, you know, believe that you're probably completely honest about this. This is
Yeah.
just what we have to look at, is the chances that things get replaced, because it does have a refrigerator right now. It does have a full stove.
It does
So
now, because
I-
they rented it.
Yeah.
That poor lady living there, it was awful. The place is awful.
Again, you know, we don't need the income. I have no intention to rent that.
Yeah, and you can come and check. Anyone can come and check further down the road. Are we still in compliance? I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I've shown, so right here on the screen is kind of the current condition. I've labeled it as illegal as-built living quarters, code case numbers. As you can see, there's a sink, there's a full-size refrigerator, and there's a stove top to the north kind of retaining wall. What we are proposing to the county is, you know, a guest house compliant with a remodeled bathroom, as well as a kind of a bar sink with some cabinetry.
And why would you not call it a guest room instead of a guest house?
Well, that's not how the code, the municipal ordinance through the county calls it. It's very, guest house is how it is defined in the county ordinance.
I have a question. So Dana, are you aware of the Coastal Commission's letter to the county telling them not to issue any permits for any guest houses? And also within the guest house ordinance, it's not supposed to have access to the house. It's supposed to be like separate. Third question is, was this a garage and then they turned it into this and added a bathroom, or what was it? Was the
I don't know what the prior kind of before the illegal conversion was,
Uh-huh.
prior to the Rodmans owning it. I wasn't the architect then.
Okay, but so the county didn't say anything about it, that it can't have access to the main house?
Nope, the county did not.
Okay, because that's in the ordinance. It says,
It says guest house, home office, a guest house, sleeping home office facilities without indoor connection to the living area of the principal residence may be established as the use accessory to a residence. So if we look at this is, has a connection. It has a connection. There's a doorway to go to the stairs and to the elevator.
Okay, so so we can make that we could propose to, sorry, I can't, whoops. I will,
Could I
so
ask a question?
can I get rid of this door? And so that
Can I ask a question first?
oh yeah, go for it, Doug.
Why would it matter whether there's an opening to the house?
that's what the
Why is
ordinance says.
That's what the CZLU 23.08.032.e, that's
and I'm
how it's
asking-
defining a guest house.
And I'm asking, what is the rationale behind that?
Well, you'd have to talk to the
Who
person who drafted
knows?
Title 23.
Right,
But-
whoever
but why
wrote
would
the
it-
ordinance, and it's in the coastal zone, so that's what the CZ stands for, but that's what it says. And that's why it just seems odd that they want to call it a guest house, especially when Coastal Commission has asked them not to give any permits for guest houses.
And that's why I asked if it should be, if that's what you're gonna use it for, is for visitors, then it should be a
Like a
guest
guest
room.
room.
And that
Hmm.
shouldn't be a
Alright.
It's fine
problem.
with me,
bedroom.
I'll call it a guest room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
although,
It's not a separate building, it's
Yeah.
just underneath
Yeah.
the living space.
that may bring into question having the wet bar and stuff. Maybe that's why they said that, because you can't, I don't know if you can have a wet bar in a bedroom.
We
Dana,
have one in our other.
Yeah,
Yeah, we do
so
have
I
it
guess
on here.
under the same kind of ordinances, is a guest house, sleeping or home office without indoor connection to the living area of principal residence. So I understand that, and we can definitely eliminate the indoor connection to this to comply.
But then how would the guests go back and
There's
forth?
there's an exterior door.
We'd have to go around.
to the front, yeah, or the garage.
If we
just
can't
have to
have
go
indoor
outside to come into the house
connection.
again. Yeah.
Folks,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I've got some people raising their hands. To Julie Tacker, you've got your hand up there. You want to make a comment
I had a question.
or question?
Well, I guess that kind of was already asked, in that maybe it's just an extra bedroom. And the question I had for Dana is, has the county issued an info hold letter on this to ask some of these same questions?
No.
Oh, I don't know if this matters, but the Carrillo Estates has no comments or concerns about this. Just thought I would throw that out.
The ARC, okay.
The
Del
Carrillo
Rio's
Estates
not
is-
He's not the planner, though. He's the code enforcement, so.
No, Cabrillo
I
guy
understand. I
is
didn't say
the
that.
Cabrillo Estates
The Carrillo guys,
homeowners.
their architects are fine with it. Yeah.
Architectural Review Committee in Cabrillo have their own volunteer group that looks at it, like land use does.
Mhm.
Okay. Becky, is your hand up?
Yes, my question was, Dana, when you were explaining this, you talked about, and I may not have gotten the words right, something like an operational suite. You called it a something.
Mm,
And I think it was pertaining to the kitchen or something like that. I didn't catch all of your words.
oh, yeah. So are you talking about how the code case was defined, maybe?
It sounded like, well, maybe, but it said something about it. I thought it was going to become an I'm sorry, operational suite and it had something to do with aging in place.
Oh, yeah. So basically it was just it was my introduction. So I just said Doug and Nancy immediately after purchasing the home, Doug and Nancy immediately began the thoughts of upgrading the home to fit their needs and allow them to age in place. This includes providing a functional kitchen upstairs and a primary suite.
And an
Okay,
elevator.
so primary suite is upstairs, or this
Yeah, it's a
Primary suite, master
upstairs.
bedroom.
Yeah,
Okay.
master bedroom. Yeah.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if that was, you meant this part was going to be the primary suite. Thank you
No.
No.
for clarifying.
I mean, I would think, didn't put my hand up, that this would be, as Julie said, maybe a fourth bedroom. And I don't know how the process would be to convert a illegal guest house to a fourth bedroom. And but it seems like the county is missing something here as far as calling it a guest house. It's,
That would make it a lot easier to call it a bedroom, you think? That's what it's gonna be. It's just a guest bedroom when not used very
Yeah.
often.
Yeah.
But again, it could be just because of the kitchenette and stuff, and that may not be allowed in a regular bedroom. That might be.
So
Could
Well,
they call it,
there's another reason why I was gonna put that down there is I have an interest in, now that I'm retired, doing some arts and crafts. And I don't have a spot to do that upstairs. And so it would be nice to be able to go downstairs and have a countertop and a little sink to wash up. So that was something I was thinking of using it for as well.
Or when I get in the doghouse.
I think you can
That'll
have a
be my
sink
doghouse.
and a under counter fridge in a bedroom.
Yeah,
I think
I'm not sure.
too.
I'm
I
just
think
asking
you can.
because I don't know.
Just the
Yeah.
stove and refrigerator are the
No, and they're going away,
problem.
Lindy. That's part of
They're
the.
going away. You
Quote
do
Oh, I
not
know. I'm
need a
just saying-
refrigerator and stuff.
no, but I'm saying a bedroom cannot have a stove and refrigerator, but it can have a
No.
counter and a sink.
But a house cannot have two kitchens. That's the law.
Oh, right, because it's a single, well, what
Yeah.
do you call it? Single
So,
family
so
residence. Right?
it can't be in a
Yeah.
bedroom. It just simply can't be. So, I think that the project looks really good. I think what is really happening here is that because it was maybe cold and uninsulated, the things you were describing about how dingy or destitute the space was, it was unconditioned space that was turned into living space, but wasn't safe. And that's what they're
Right.
bringing
It was
this
not
up to
safe.
code.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right, Julie.
Yeah.
Larry Molly's had her hand up.
yeah, go ahead, Molly.
Okay, so I guess I have a couple things. I'm, new to LOCAC, so I'm getting up to speed on the codes and such, but I guess the question is, are guest houses actually not allowed in Los Osos? And if that were the case, then are they, the architect, I think, would need to be clarifying, are they trying to get a guest house or are they trying to permit an additional bedroom to the house? So I think they probably need to get some clarity too on what they're asking for in terms of what's allowed, maybe speaking further with the planners on what's allowed. But that's the part, the sticking point is, what if this was not a code enforcement case and it was a new request, would the county be considering a guest house at this location? That's kind of my first question. And we don't have a planner here, I don't think, to answer the question, but I don't know if it's something the architect could chime in on.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, I'm sorry, I didn't raise my hand. As I mentioned, the Coastal Commission has adamantly told the county not to issue any permits for ADUs or guest houses. They're going ahead and doing it illegally, and there's a lawsuit about that in town. So yeah, it would be good if we knew the planning department's reason for calling this a guest house and not just a bedroom.
Yeah.
And I
right.
think aren't guest houses they're not attached.
I think sometimes they are attached and sometimes
according
they're
to
not.
Well, with Title 23, it says the guest house has no connection to the house.
Okay, but not that it, I know they have to be within 50 feet of a residence.
The other thing to consider here is this is a discretionary permit. So when it gets to the decision makers, they can decide that they will not approve it. And if
Sure,
the, if
and
the
that
letter
makes
from,
it unappealable, it makes it appealable as well.
if, yes, and if the coastal commission letter has influence over the decision makers locally, then they can say no. It's when it
could I
gets
make a
to
comment?
coastal, that coastal may or may not say no. So that's the whole thing about a condition, this is a discretionary permit.
We could do that too, but I don't know how to do it.
Doug has his hand up.
I have my hand raised.
Yeah, they're not muted.
Yeah, go ahead, Doug.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to comment that I read the letter from the Coastal Commission, and I understand it to be the biggest concern is for the water table, which is the biggest, which is a great concern, and that they, it says right here, at the same, I obviously highlighted this because it is advantageous to me, but it says at the same time, we believe that it is likely that a small home addition and renovation are not likely to increase water use on a property. So in other words, the gist of the whole letter was we're concerned about the water use. And I guess that's the reason I, in the very beginning, mentioned that we're not using any more water. We don't have kids. We are actually using much less water than the previous owner. And if that is the biggest concern, then I guess I wouldn't understand why this would be a problem to have this extra room, as you call it, or, you know,
Whatever
guest house, whatever you want to
extra
call it.
bedroom, guest house, whatever it takes. Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. I think the project sounds great.
Great,
Thank you.
Whoever
And
did that.
Becky, go ahead.
I had a question. And Julie, could you tell us what's the difference between a discretionary and a ministerial permit?
Discretion, sort of explanatory, that means they can choose to not approve it, or they can shape it to be somewhat different or condition it. Ministerial is, it meets the test of all the ordinances, et cetera, for that particular development that's being put forth.
Okay. And, Doug and Nancy we're not trying to pick on you at all. You seem like great people and welcome to the neighborhood. It's just, we have had county issuing ministerial permits to get around the Coastal Commission. And so we've been working on this issue.
Oh.
And
Well,
so
I don't
that's
think that's
why
exactly
it's not
accurate.
you, it's not, this was already done illegally and it's done all over town. And there is a lawsuit about a ministerially permitted guest house where they built this giant thing with 2 bedrooms and whatever. So that's all going on. It's not you, it's what's going on in town and this fight between Coastal Commission and the county. They're not agreeing and decisions hasn't been all clarified, but they have said no guest houses. So that's why there's this higher, people are like, it's not you at all.
Okay.
Okay,
helps.
Lindy, I see you put your hand up.
I think that brings me back to the wording of guest room versus guest house. If you're going to get approval for a guest house, but you're going to remove all semblance of the guest house, which would be all the kitchen appliances, then it sort of, it falls back into always having that listed as a guest house for the future, say you don't own it forever. And so that's why I think that's where I see the problem should be renaming that will be an art studio and guest room. And then we're done with this whole guest house issue, which we can't support. I mean, we don't support.
Some of us can.
Some of us can, but many of us are
I
very
don't have a
concerned
problem
that
with it.
there'll be abuse and there's
Well,
no
but
limit to how much water.
Until
they
there
can
is
use.
abuse, you can't
But-
speculate that there's going to be abuse.
I know, but we just watched
Exactly.
this house
Good
have
point.
a code enforcement and gosh knows how long that was there.
Well, apparently the
was-
neighbors knew for a long time, but they didn't turn them in. So whether,
but it
you know,
doesn't mean that
that's
it was
not on
legal.
us.
No, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
code enforcement, it specifically on this project was issued in 2022 or 2021, excuse me.
it says here July 5th, 2022, exactly a year ago.
It was like right before we.
Yeah, I
right
see
before they
Robin,
bought it.
Robin has her hand up, and then Becky's got her hand up next.
Yeah, the other thing about going back and forth on the name guest room, guest house is the way the CDP is and what Coastal is following is the concept and the point that there should be no new water using development in Los Osos until there's conclusive proof of a sustainable basin for the existing residents. And when you have your sink in there, well, that's water using. You can argue it's not going to be used very often or minimally, but the point is it's new water using development. So there's that part of
I guess I would
the law.
argue.
Yeah. Okay. Becky, I see you've got your hand up.
Yeah. And I'm sorry you're caught in all this mess. And this is our county having failed our town on taking care of this. Coastal also wrote that guest houses are too easily converted into rentals. The other thing is if it was planned on being a vacation rental, we've tons of illegal ones. And you said, I believe that you're not going to, but that's another issue in the town. So I'm so sorry that you're having to get caught in the middle of this big thing.
Raise my hand here. I'd like to talk. Go ahead.
Is it, whose turn is that?
Your turn.
Go for it.
Oh, thank you. So this is just by the side. Our next door neighbor confessed to being the one to make the complaint. He offered to rescind the complaint. He said that to me. It doesn't do any good because the county, I mean, it's already done. But he, after getting to know us, realizes we're not going to rent it out. And he feels the same way. He feels really bad. Gosh, you know, whatever. That was one thing. And the other thing is if we need to take out that sink, you know, the extra sink in the kitchenette thing, whatever we need to do, I can always wash my art supplies in
the bathroom.
You know, there's two other sinks downstairs.
Yeah.
Right, which, if I could talk just a minute, which goes to my point that, though, that the whole issue is the use of extra water use. And if we're not going to be using extra water, if the people, like for instance, let's say we just even took the bathroom out down there. If there's no bathroom there, there's no sink, but there's people staying there, those people are going to have to use the sink and they're going to have to use toilet, they're going to have to use water. And it doesn't really matter whether they use that water down there or upstairs. So I guess I'm asking just to see things on an individual basis or judge things on an individual basis rather than as a, you know, across the board type of thing.
Although I totally understand your point of view too with the regulations.
Yeah.
Get it.
Dana and Doug and Nancy, myself personally, I'd like to hear from county planning. You know, I think we have an issue here on the name of it, and it, you know, you got for some reason they're saying guest house, you know, and you're not saying guest house. Nobody here is saying guest house. You know, we're seeing it as an extra bedroom, a den, an art studio that's got a bed in it, you know, so when family comes over, it's not a guest house. And I think county can work around this and see what you're trying to accomplish, what we're trying to say here in LOCAC, in land use, you know, that if you called it a bedroom, you know, or art studio, whatever you call it, you know, it's not a guest house. Take the word guest house out of it. That county can come up with something. I think if Dana talks to county, so myself, I would like to hear from county planning. I'd like the feedback for them, why they chose. We have some new folks in county planning. They've had a turnover there. And maybe they're not as creative as we would like them to be, you know, and I think they could be a little more creative. I'm still going to leave it open to comment here and stuff, but we will be sending county planning a list of concerns and everything. Bring this back to LOCAC, maybe with some of those answers and stuff. Because some questions were brought up here, you know, we can beat this bush, you beat it around the bush forever. You know, it's not going to resolve anything. It depends on what county planning is going to do about it. You know, and they can make some changes real easy and make it real simple, and we would all support it. Just my comments. Patrick, I see your hand is up. And then Becky, I see your hand is up too.
Thank you. I'd also like to just welcome Doug and Nancy to the neighborhood. And I think you'll be just absolutely wonderful neighbors for the whole community to be here. But please understand also that our concern for the community has nothing to do with you. It's after you leave. And that could be unfortunate circumstances, which could be very soon, or it could be years ahead. We don't know what the new owners or other owners coming into your place, regardless of when that's going to be, is going to do with the house. And as long as you have something that is more like a guest bedroom or bathroom, kitchenette, everything else, it could be rented out. We have people in the town right now that already do that. So that is what the concern is. It has nothing to do with the two of you. And as Becky has been saying, we just are really saddened that you're stuck in the middle of this. So please understand that part of it.
Okay, Becky,
Okay.
go ahead.
And so just my comment as to, I understand what you're thinking, Doug, and saying, well, there could be more people living in the house and we use more water, and that can happen, but the county doesn't come and count people in houses. But this is a way they can regulate that. So, I mean, that's what they have. Otherwise, they'd be going into everybody's house and counting how many people are there.
They can't do that though, Becky. They
What?
cannot count. They can't. You can have a family of 20 people if you
But
want.
that's exactly what I'm saying.
They
Is that
cannot
there
count people.
That's what I'm saying. They can't do that. And this is a way that they are trying to control new water use. It doesn't make, I mean, it sounds odd because yeah, you could have 20 people in there and nobody's going to do anything about it. So that, I just wanted to clarify that if that helped at all.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I understand that. But again, that goes back to my point is to take each case on an individual basis.
I don't think they can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lindy,
Well,
let's see
You
if we
may
can kind
not
of wrap.
know that, you may not know that Los Osos has been through torture with a sewer war, no building, a full-on no building moratorium. So people who have not been able to add a bathroom, they've not been able to add a bedroom. And because the sewer's been in now for 8 years or so, they're beginning to open it up with that same theory that, you know, just because you have the convenience of having an extra bathroom is not going to necessarily cause more water use, but it does allow for abuse. So we're sort of stuck in between. And because we can't go in and inspect people and say you can only have, you know, 3 people, we don't watch water use. I mean, after someone moves in, we don't know if they double their water use. There's nothing that anybody can do. So we're sort of recovering, and the county is trying to, you know, accommodate all the growth they can because they make money on it. And so we're in between trying to protect our basin and give people the options to have what they need to make their home comfortable. So just a little
Thank you.
history.
Okay.
I'm all for protecting the water.
Yes, and we appreciate that. Okay, so that was the committee members. We do have a couple of public folks out there in the audience. Do we have any questions or comments from members of the public out there?
Dave and Bev?
Bev,
And I also, I've got
It's
this
Dave.
person. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, it's Dave. I just wanted to say that the county seems to have really failed on this, and we know that the county's understaffed and all kinds of changes have happened in there. You know, I wish that the county could get it together better. And I think that this committee is suffering because of the county's failure in this situation.
Okay, good. We have a person, Tony, and I can't pronounce his last name, but I see his name on the list. He would like to make,
Grijalva.
okay, he would like to make a comment. Huh?
He doesn't have a hand up.
No, but he messaged me and so he
Oh,
might not.
okay.
Okay, now you just unmuted me.
There
Hi,
he is.
Tony.
Hello, LOCAC. My name's Tony Grijalva. I live over here on 12th Street, and I just went through LOCAC on a deck, and I got the permit. And thank you very much for allowing it. It's still not built yet, but the reason why I'm here tonight is because I recently retired, 32 and a half years as a correctional lieutenant, and now I want to enjoy the golden years. And during my years, my wife and I bought a house in Florida, and LOCAC, what I'm asking for, my next door neighbor has an Airbnb. I'm asking for just 6 months, and LOCAC has just a straight 6 months because I have to be back there, you know, for at least 6 months. My wife's a California resident here of Los Osos. This is our house. And what I'm asking for is leniency. Look on a case-by-case basis. It ends when we end, you know, LOCAC can verify it, you know, because he's my next door neighbor, great guy. And I've never had any problems out of anyone who's rented that place. And he actually rented our place while he was Airbnb-ing that place. And that's mismanagement. That's going in using it, in my opinion, not for what it's meant for. But I'm asking for a straight 6 months because I'm serious. It was
Tony, what does that have to do with this project? We're discussing this project.
You had
if
me,
you want to say,
you had me muted.
he's doing
earlier.
public comment.
Okay, then I told you after we discuss this project, I will let you talk.
Oh,
But
I
could
thought you meant
Tony?
after the meeting. I'm
No.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I will give you public time. We asked it before and whatever, but
Okay.
We're talking about this project right now, Tony. I'm asking you just to hang on, please.
I apologize.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, getting back to Doug and Nancy's. Any other public comment on this project?
Well, there's a phone, but I think it might be Doug and Nancy. Are 155.
That's my phone.
That's
Okay.
you guys. Okay, so we can put that
Okay.
hand down.
There's a hand death on that? I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah. Any land use member like to make a motion on this, where
I
we
do
should
it?
go from here?
I
Julie?
have an idea.
Yeah,
I'd like to recommend that we move the project forward to LOCAC at large, the larger LOCAC, with the caveat that it doesn't get agendized if in these next 3 weeks you don't have a new name for the space. And then, so if the new name is there by that meeting, then the larger LOCAC can just go ahead and approve it at that time.
so you're saying an answer from county planning?
Yes.
Okay, because that's what I'm leaning towards.
So that's my motion.
Okay.
Sounds
Is
like you're
there a,
seconding it, Larry.
is there a second to that, to Julie's motion?
So just to clarify, so it would go to full LOCAC, but in the meantime, the county would have to clarify that it's not a guest house, like
Right.
specifically, and give it a different name.
Right.
Or the county can say they don't want to change the name. That's up, that we
But then
can't
they-
ask.
Yeah, but then the whole LOCAC can say yes or no to the guest house, if that's what it still is. So just move this project forward for these people, because it sounds
if
like
they
they've
don't-
got a lot of work to do.
If they don't change the name from guest house, then it isn't compliant, so.
Well, that's between the county and the applicant at that point, and then, but the larger LOCAC, which several of you are on, can make that point in 3 weeks when that meeting is.
And at Lindy, at LOCAC level, the project could be denied
Right,
because they wouldn't change the name.
could be.
Could be.
What you would want is an explanation from the county as to why they would name it that and still allow the interior door. If they don't allow the interior door and Doug and Nancy don't want a door, or they do want a door, they can ask the county to consider just a bedroom addition.
Yeah.
You know, but that I think can be worked out in the short amount of time between now and then. in
Yeah,
that meeting.
I think Claire and our county representative had 3 weeks to work it out, and come back with an answer.
So
So anyway,
we're gonna approve it.
No, it's just
With the-
moving
No.
it forward, Lindy.
we're not
With-
approved, we're not deciding supporting it or not supporting it. We're moving it forward with the condition that
You
county
have an answer.
gives an explanation,
Straightens out that wording.
straightens it out, So I'll
That's
se- I'll
different
second
from
it.
What we normally do, but
well, but so
well,
all
normally
in
we'd come
favor,
back and we'd look at it again, but I'd like to, make it go faster for them too, so. If that works, then I'm good.
okay, so that I second Julie's motion. All in favor of Julie's motion? And if you need it read again, we can read it again. I see
Do I vote on these?
1, 2,
Yeah, Jacob is voting in affirmative. Looks like only Patrick is a no or no vote.
Abstain.
yeah,
Abstaining.
Abstain.
Okay,
okay.
I'll lower my hand. So whatever the number is, I didn't count tonight. How many are here? Somebody else would
1,
make note of that.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in favor, 1 abstaining.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, okay. So Nancy and Doug,
Oh, wait, there
There's
were
8 of us there. There's
Yeah,
8 of
there's
us.
8 of us, so it's 7-4.
4, 7 to 1.
7-1.
Yeah, 7-4, 7 pro the motion, 1 abstain.
Abstains.
oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't want to take my shoes off to count. Doug and Nancy, we have our LOCAC meeting. It's the 4th Thursday of the month.
27th of July.
So the 20th
27th.
of July, Zoom meeting. Your
6:30.
project,
We will be on the
No.
agenda.
Yes. We moved it to
Yeah.
6:30, I believe, the meetings.
I didn't hear anything about that. Not
Oh,
Not
maybe
LOCAC.
I believe one committee moved from 7 to
7 to
6:30.
6:30.
I apologize, I
I
don't
thought it
remember which committee, but that was an update from one of the committees.
I was thinking it was the.
not LOCAC.
Okay.
And we'll send you and Dana an email, with the Zoom link and everything. And we will question the county. We'll send them all the questions that came up here. And hopefully they do have a representative at that meeting. And hopefully the representative will have some good answers for you. And again, welcome to our town. It is really nice, people friendly.
And,
Yeah,
and
nice
to meet
good
you
luck on your
Thank you.
work.
Thank you so much. You guys are great. I'm very blessed to have you on doing this. Thank you.
Okay. So you guys for those that are still on LOCAC and stuff and the public members, there is this person, Tony.
Gravalia.
Something.
Grijalva.
Grijalva.
I'd like to,
thank you.
Good
yeah,
night.
I'd like,
Good night.
Night.
yeah,
Bye.
So Tony,
I'd like to give him 3 minutes to talk about whatever he wants to talk about. I'm
Okay.
sorry. And then we have some stuff business I want to talk about afterwards, and stuff. So Tony, you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you got 3 minutes.
Okay, what I'm looking for is an amendment to the ordinance for Airbnb, because LOCAC can monitor it. We do pay taxes, and it's just for a straight 6 months. If I'm within 500 yards, and that's what the ordinance is, if you're within 500 yards of an existing Airbnb or vacation rental, that there can't be another Airbnb. But you know what? LOCAC can monitor this because the permit's in my name, and when I die or sell this house, that it goes away. And you can see from taxes, when it is. I mean, I don't know if you can tell months, but I will do it 6 months consecutive, no more than. And so I'm just asking, either you point me in the right direction, or if you think what I'm saying is unreasonable. That's my
Robin, go ahead.
Tony, LOCAC is just advisory.
I know, but if
that's what its role is. But I can appreciate what your needs are, but why don't you do monthly or a 6-month rental?
Believe me, I've tried it. It is so hard. Try to get a family to move into a place for 6 months. They want a year minimum. And that's the problem that I have. It's not that I want to do Airbnb. It's hard to get someone in here for 6 months, say between December and May, for those specific months. Yeah, I can rent it for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and hopefully the entire time, but it's really hard.
Well, that's an option though, like a month. I know there are places that are not licensed vacation rental, but that do rent for a month or 2 months or whatever.
Well, I know that's hard.
Anyway,
that's very hard to do.
I can,
That's
I
very
know
hard to
they're
do.
doing it, but anyway.
Yeah.
But look, my understanding is LOCAC that doesn't have the issue these permits. It's county that does that.
No, well, the permits are there. It's the ordinance. I believe it's LOCAC's ordinance says that I can't have
the
an
ordinance
Airbnb.
was drafted by the community, but it went through the planning commission, it went through the board of supervisors, and it was approved by the coastal commission.
Okay, where do I start first then?
County.
Somebody else answer that.
Yeah. Becky, you've got.
Yeah, I think Patrick, did you have an answer of where he could go next?
The county, you've got to, that's where it's going to go. And then the county will draft something else up. It'll say, go back to the coastal commission and everything else, but we have no ability to do that at all. We're just advisory to the county on whatever comes to us. So there's nothing that we can really say one way or another.
Okay, so what you're saying is county sets Los Osos
Talk to your
ordinances.
supervisor.
Yeah, Bruce Gibson. Tony, you might try traveling nurses.
Yeah, we already did. And you know
Yeah.
what? They don't want to stay here. They want to stay in San Luis.
Oh, for
And
heaven's
believe
sake.
me, my wife did it over in Bakersfield. And, you know, now we just have this house and our house in Florida, and we were 6 months at each. And we tried it. We didn't get one nurse to rent this place.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
then, you know what? And I had to go and I had to look. In fact, I took a loss on this place. I still have a mortgage on this place. And, you know, I lost money every single month we were back in Florida. And I'm just well, if you guys aren't the one to talk to, I need to talk to, I guess, go to the county.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that vacation rental next door to you? Is that one a legal one?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
He's got a spare minute.
I know what, we had neighbors that rented to Cal Poly students for 6 months.
Well, like I said earlier, they were just doing it once every blue moon. They'd rent their place out and go on vacation. And then
But-
they asked to rent our place when we went back to our Florida house. They did, and they rented that thing out and made a killing. But I'm not here to make a killing. I'm here because I can't lose money. And as long as I break even, I'm good.
Right.
That's all I'm asking for. I'm not trying to, I just
Yeah.
want to not lose money.
Tony, I've
Yeah,
got
I
a
was gonna
question.
say,
from
you
Dave
under-
and Bev.
You understand why there's the 500.
500. No, I don't.
So I can tell you I have a friend who lives over in Baywood, and there are 3 vacation rentals on their one block. And so they're a family with kids trying to do homework, and it was like party scene on one block. And so I know Robin worked, I think, didn't Robin, you work on the ordinance? I didn't, but that was part of the reason, is that neighborhoods were becoming more like hotels. And it was disrupting the neighborhood feel. Not that you would, or no one intends to do that, but that's why there's the 500 foot.
Okay.
I know, but
I've got
I know,
a
but then
question
you're-
from Tony. I've got a question from Dave and Bev, and
Yeah.
let them do that. And I think we're going to wrap this up. Dave and Bev, you there? I see they're muted. There.
It's Bev this time, the low-tech person. I just wonder if, Tony, if you have tried going through Cal Poly. Sometimes they have visiting scholars for a semester or something. That's another possibility.
I'll try.
Okay.
Yeah, but what's that? Oh. Okay. Yeah,
Tony,
what's-
I think we've kind of used your time up. I don't think, besides for the suggestions that were made here, we can help you very much. It's part of the ordinance. It is what it is. It's the county that is in charge of that. We can't do that. But we want to thank you and wish you good luck.
Okay. Thank you. And thank
Okay.
you guys for what you do.
Okay, Tony.
All right.
Good night.
Thank you.
Night.
Okay, it's moving along. I had a request from some people about in-person meeting. And I want to see what the interest there might be of going back to an in-person meeting or coming up with a blended meeting. Anyone else have any ideas or thoughts? Or Patrick?
Well, as long as it's blended, I don't do in-person meetings.
Hybrid, yeah. I'm there. I'm in my pajamas right now. You guys don't want to see it.
Okay. Becky, go ahead.
I think Molly had her hand up first.
Molly? Oh, okay.
Molly's muted.
Oh, hang on, Molly. We're going to unmute you.
Okay, so yeah, I would like the idea of some in-person meetings or a blended thing. I think the technology thing, having to go through Zoom can be problematic sometime, especially for people that aren't real good with it. So I'm a big proponent of in-person meetings if we could do something along that lines.
Okay. Becky, I see your hand, and then Dave and Bev.
I agree. A hybrid meeting would be great. You know, I attend the Basin Management Committee meetings, and you make invaluable connections when you go to a in-person
Yeah.
meet, but hybrid is great. And I'd like to see as many people as possible be able to attend. I did talk to Ron Munns about like I actually asked him about Bruce Gibson having office hours again after 3.5 years at the CSD building. And we could probably work out something with them. I don't know if there's a charge, maybe they just let us do it. But yeah, I agree. Hybrid meeting would be wonderful.
Okay, Dave, and Bev.
Yeah, we're all for hybrid meetings, and I just wanted to say the advantage of Zoom is people can do share screen, and that's not always the case at a in-person meeting. So the share screen is actually quite a useful function that can take place, and we're also not into in-person meetings yet. So thanks a lot. Oh, and Bruce used to meet at the golf course meeting.
Right, but he hasn't. He was having meetings at office hours up in Atascadero last summer.
Well, yeah, because he didn't represent us anymore.
Well, I thought that ended December 31st.
Right,
This year.
so give
Yeah,
him
so
a
he's
few months to
didn't have them here.
get. Yeah,
He chose not.
it still could go to court.
Yeah. Jacob, I see your hands up.
Sure, thank you. I just wanted to say, yeah, I support hybrid meetings, and I'll probably attend them. Did they used to be held at LOCSD or somewhere else before the pandemic?
They used to be Sea Pines at the golf course. They have a couple of meeting rooms. We used to have them at the community center in a little back room they did, but land use became so popular, the room got too small. So we had to get a bigger room.
Got it. Okay. I like all of those options. I kind of just wanted to support it because LOCSD is like right next to my office. So
Okay.
we took over their old.
Jacob, could you help me put together a blended meeting thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you a call during the week. Lindy.
If Ron would allow us to use the CSD office, they pretty much have it all set up for blended meetings.
But then there's staff.
They
to
have
run
AGP, Lindy. That's expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, AGP still involved over there.
You know, I was thinking, was anybody on here on the homeless committee we had? Because I think it was Laura Durbin from CSD who helped us in doing Zoom meetings and learning more about share screen and all of that sort of thing. I wonder if she would be able to even just help with the Zoom portion. And since she's still running the meetings from Texas for the CSD, maybe that's something we could look into.
Okay, that's a good idea. Well, good. I think it might require a little more research and stuff, and maybe next month come back with a couple of ideas and suggestions. Lindy, I see your hand up.
I guess
And then
I was sort of thinking maybe even a meet and greet kind of meeting where we talk about some of the things that the code enforcement, we never have a chance to really talk about our frustrations with code enforcement activities, our approach to permits that take water. I just think even if it was just a random meeting, every 3 months or every 6 months or something might be an option too. So anyway, just whether if it gets too complicated to do a combined meeting, maybe something like that, because we haven't met our new members in person. And I do appreciate getting together and having those that follow us, but Dave and Bev and Vic, be able to kind of put their opinions together too. So just an alternative idea.
Okay. Robin, did you have your hand?
Yeah, I did. It was along the lines of getting the technology together for the hybrid. And I don't think we necessarily have to be the ones inventing the wheel or driving the bus on this. I would think LOCAC is going to be having these, or should be having the same discussion. And so maybe we can piggyback off of their decision too, should they decide to do hybrid.
Very good idea. Yeah. Dave and Bev?
Yeah, and I just wanted to add, going back to the public comment I made earlier, that this all relates to the outreach operation. And, you know, it would be a big deal if we start having real meetings with real people. And again, if the population of Los Osos is at all interested in what's going on, they ought to know about the land use meeting.
Okay.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I agree. And I brought up at full LOCAC and with Kristen, you know, I said I'd be happy to help. I haven't ever heard back. I've offered a number of times also that we do a table at Farmers Market when we were doing the homeless committee, the unhoused residents committee. I mean, we went to Farmers Market twice and passed out little flyers or just were there and say, hey, do you know what LOCAC is? This is what we're working on. And most of the people we talked to did not know what LOCAC was. So, and it's actually pretty fun.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments, questions? Anything else we need to talk about? Robin, go ahead.
Yeah, welcome Molly and Jacob.
Thank you very much.
On board.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And then
Yeah.
can I make a motion, we adjourn?
I second.
Yes. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a great 4th of July Independence
Good
Day.
night, everybody.
Good
Safe
night, Julie. Good night,
days.
all. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.